injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident. They will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine, Monday, June 17th, 2024. Already June 17th. Don't forget, a week from now, I'll be in Hawaii and you won't. Which means we won't be doing shows next week. We're on vacation. As we are this Wednesday, we'll be off as well. Jake typically skips Fridays or breaks the internet, so we can't do the show on Friday. Other than that, it's great. The Monty Show, as always, brought to you by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, theadvocates.com. So stoked. If Jake doesn't break the internet Friday, it'll be Giving Friday. The Advocates in the road home for the 20th straight year. The Advocates in the road home partnering together to give those underprivileged kids who are in school but don't have things like backpacks, pens, pencils, paper, the basic necessities to compete for their best education. We're going to raise money with the Advocates and the road home. No matter where you are in this country, you know that the Advocates are there for you. Let's return the favor because, as you guys are aware, I'm so passionate about children's welfare. And I think one of the things that stands out to me so much is the innocence that we lose in our kids so quickly. And if we can give $1, $5, $1 million to help a kid feel more normal at school, let's do that. Giving Friday this Friday, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. What a crazy weekend in sports. And yes, I am going to start with Bryson DeChambeau winning the U.S. Open. And it is, to me, shocking that Rory McIlroy missed not one, but two putts inside of 4 feet after making 496 consecutive putts inside of 5 feet. He missed the only two that mattered, and Bryson DeChambeau wins the U.S. Open on one of the, I think it is the greatest shot I've ever seen. And I've seen Tiger Woods, I've seen some pretty crazy shots in golf. As somebody that's 51 years old, Tiger at the Masters, like Tiger at the Century, like I've seen some great golf shots. But in a bunker from 50 yards to put it within 5 feet, Jake, I don't know that we have in recent times maybe ever seen a shot that A, was so clutch, but B, just spectacular from Bryson DeChambeau.
And I think if you don't play golf, you don't understand how difficult that shot is. 50 yards out of a bunker is an awkward distance. There's no question about it. And that's what makes that shot so challenging. And then you compare or you add on to the fact that it's from the sand, from 50 yards, awkward distance with the greens. Oh. That's the thing that to me makes it one of the best shots that we've seen in recent times in golf, because the control is just incredible.
It is the only green on Sunday, because of where the pin was located, that he could have made that shot. It is just to understand the minute details of that shot. First of all, Bryson DeChambeau could not find a fairway yesterday. I think he only had 4 out of 18 fairways. He then on 18 pulls the ball left, gets incredibly lucky and hits a spectator so that the ball does not careen. Now, he did have a tough lie. Landed against a tree root, underneath a tree, the second shot was maybe as good as the third shot. I don't know. But I just think in that moment, that's one of the greatest things ever. And obviously, Bryson DeChambeau, I think, is the only guy that we've ever seen transcend the LIV Golf stank, the LIV Golf residue of disgust and murder, torturous money.
Yeah.
Bryson DeChambeau, I think, has transcended that. And as good of a dude as I think everybody knows Bryson is, if you don't follow him on Insta, Snapface, YouTube, you're crazy. Like I watch his videos on YouTube. I follow him on TikTok and Insta. Like, he's just an enjoyable personality. To see him perform under that kind of pressure, I'm surprised he was able to finish it.
Well, and I think that the fact that he's only 4 out of 18 with fairways hit adds to the choke job by Rory, because Bryson starts the day up 3, Rory runs him down, is up 2, and then just throws it away. And I love Rory. I love the guy's game. He is absolutely one of the best golfers of his generation, but there's no denying the fact that when he's playing a major, something happens to him, and I don't know what that is. And frankly, I think we need to start asking, does he win another one? Because if you can't make a 3-foot putt to basically secure the deal, that's mental. That's not got to do with the wind or the green or whatever. That is mental. You're standing there, with a gimme, and you can't knock it down. And I look at Xander Schauffele's putt to win his first major. That was a much more difficult putt than what Rory had. Xander had probably 7 feet, 8 feet that he had to roll that to make that, and drilled it.
I would also say I agree with that. I think the 4-foot putt is one of the most difficult putts under pressure to make. And I think like Nick Taylor at the RBC last year from 100 feet is a much easier putt in that situation than a 4-footer to stay in contention at the U.S. Open. Because a lot of people are conflating. The first miss is what really crippled Rory. And the second miss is what cost him a playoff. The missed putt by Rory McIlroy was not to lose the tournament.
Yeah.
It was a par putt to stay in the match. The first 3-footer he missed was unconscionable.
But when I'm watching this live on 18, and Rory misses that putt, before he takes that stroke and hits that putt, I'm sitting here saying, okay, if he can just make this is going to put a load of pressure on Bryson, because we know that Bryson has not been driving the ball well. We know at some point the odds say he's going to bogey a hole. At some point on that course, you're going to bogey. And he had one of them. He did. But at some point, that's going to come back to get you. So the idea that Rory misses that putt, Bryson is off in the wilderness, then in the bunker, then on the green, and still wins, that's what's crazy to me.
And one of the great drivers of the golf ball, Bryson DeChambeau, in 18 holes, he, I think, hit 4 fairways, minus the par 3s. Like, he's one of the great drivers of the golf ball, and could not hit water from the boat yesterday. And that drive on 18, as somebody that struggles to be consistent with a driver, he knew the importance of that moment.
Yeah.
He knew he was struggling to control the driver. But what did Rory McIlroy do on 18 with his drive? He snap hooked it left, just like DeChambeau did. Pressure is real in golf, and it impacts you. And I have a lot of compassion for Rory McIlroy, because all these idiots saying that he stormed off the grounds of what would you have done? You have been talking about winning this 5th major for 3 years. You haven't won a major in 10 years, but you've been openly talking about winning this major for 3 years. You have 2 putts to do that. and you choked. You want to sit in front of the cameras? You want to talk to the media? You want to do a post-round interview? No, I don't either. I don't either. And when you're Rory McIlroy and you are sitting in a room and you are looking at yourself and you are under a microscope, and this is the now forever meme of Rory McIlroy, the minute that he realized he had lost the U.S. Open, you would have done an interview yourself. And no, I would not have either.
No.
He didn't storm off. He left. He got on a plane and he went home. And I have no problem with it. Look at the pain and the despair in that moment. And I'd remind you, he finished second at the U.S. Open. But again, he didn't finish first. And he had the ball on the blade of his putter, not once, but twice. One time, the first putt he missed was actually more significant than the second. And I'll keep saying that because we like to revise history. The putt that he missed on 18 was for par.
Yeah.
And it was to keep him in position for a playoff if Bryson parred the hole. It was not to win the U.S. Open. Having said that, he choked. There's no doubt about it. It is one of the great choke jobs in the history of major championship golf.
Yeah.
Is it Greg Norman? No, it's not. Is it Van de Velde? It's not. But it is one of the greatest choke jobs in the history of sports.
Yeah, and I think the hard part for Rory too is when you look at this weekend in totality. This is one of the few tournaments where Scotty struggled. You had some of the other heavy hitters that
it's all there.
Yeah, I mean you had all the ingredients you needed to get the job done, and that's what's so heartbreaking about it. Like I agree, he choked. There's no getting around that. There's no getting away from it. Like he choked. It just is what it is. But I do have compassion for Rory, and I think this is where the crowd of golf is boring. You don't. Like, why are we talking golf? Like, you're going to look ignorant and stupid today because this was one of the, in my opinion, from a tournament perspective, one of the best tournaments we've seen in the last couple of years.
It was very enjoyable.
I mean, it was outstanding. And in the coverage after with Bryson, I thought was one of the best things we've seen in some time.
But it was everything you wanted in a U.S. Open. Okay. But my question remains, where does Rory McIlroy go from here? I don't know how you regroup. I don't know how you come back. I don't know how you recover.
Well, I think for Rory, the things I'd be telling Rory are, yeah, man, like I'm not going to try and make you feel better about missing those two putts. You and I both know you should have made both of those putts. It's inexcusable, unacceptable. Great. Like, hey, be upset about it for, a week or 2 weeks or take a couple weeks off, whatever. I whatever he needs to do to accept what happened there and move along from those two moments, go ahead and do that. But I agree with what you said. Hey, you still finished second at the U.S. Open. Your game, for the most part, is in a great place, in a much better place than it was even 6 months ago, 4 months ago.
And what was the most awkward part of this thing of Rory McIlroy choking? The world's best putting coach and Rory McIlroy's putting coach, a gentleman named Brad Faxon, was on the broadcast when it happened. He was doing color. He works for CBS, or I guess NBC. NBC. He works for NBC. And he has worked extensively over the last, especially 90 days. But really the last 5-6 months, Brad Faxon has spent an incredible amount of time working with Rory McIlroy. And Rory McIlroy has actually been a much better putter of late because of Brad Faxon. And Brad Faxon had to sit there and say, yeah, he choked, essentially, is what he said. Not in those words, but that was an incredible moment in time.
Yeah.
And the replay showing Rory topping the ball and missing, because you could see his putter hit the top of the ball. You want that putter flat on the ground and you want a nice smooth stroke. Rory didn't have the putter flat on the ground. He had it pitched. It hit the top of the ball. Like everything that goes wrong when you're gripping that putter tight. I just thought it was one of the great moments of detailing somebody's mental collapse.
So how do you move on from it?
I don't know.
I think you have to allow yourself to see some of the positives in your performance this week. Like, there's no question about it. The expectation is win or go home. There's for Rory, that's all it is. So yeah, you didn't get the job done this week, but I do think that his putting was exceptional outside of when he needed it most. Overall, his
short game was
better.
Unbelievable.
Short game was better. You know, I
drove the ball really well again.
Yep, totally agrees. You know, so I think that, you know, and even Bryson said it in his post round availability. Rory was in command. Rory had it and just threw it away. So it's not the majority of what Rory did yesterday. And that's what my message to Rory would be. Hey, you don't suck, right? Like, you're one of the world's best golfers, but it's this 5%, it's 2 strokes that everyone's going to remember. Not the 350-yard bombs that you were hitting. It's these 2 strokes. And for that's the price you pay for being one of the best in sports. Like, when Luka loses tonight, we're going to talk about this game.
When Luka loses tonight.
Not the whole season, right? When we figure out why Aaron Rodgers isn't at camp right now, or isn't at OTAs and isn't with his team.
Albert Breer essentially said Aaron Rodgers is at another ayahuasca retreat.
So let's say that's the case. When they get their ass knocked out of the playoffs in the first round, if they get to the playoffs, I will reference this situation later in the year.
Okay, so where does this choke job rank in the history of? Is it the Yankees giving away a 3-0 lead? Is it? I mean, it's not Greg Norman dropping 6 strokes. It's not. I don't. In the modern era of sports, I think it's one of the great chokes. Is it Tom Brady and the Falcons? Is it Golden State losing to the Cavs? I don't know where this ranks. Is it the first thing you brought up to me was the 2017 Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And I just, that feels so enormous that was the 28-3 game.
Yeah.
That feels enormous.
Well,
is it?
So what do we have? So when I look at this is what I determine it to be. Rory had this win firmly in the palm of his hand, right?
But I don't think he did.
And
this is why
you're up 2 with 3 to go, dude.
This is why with 5 to go. This is why I don't put it with the Falcons, who are up 28-3 at the half in a Super Bowl. You still have to go in comparison. You still have to go to, this is a 1v1 sport, me versus me, and how you deal with pressure. The Falcons completely collapsed. Did Rory completely collapse? I don't know that that's how I would put it. Is it, if I look at golf, is it the 66 Open with Arnold Palmer, who just, no, it's not. Is it Rory at the Masters in 2011, shooting an 80 and going from first to 15th in the final round? That's a choke job. I don't believe this was a choke job. And here, one of the main reasons is, if Bryson DeChambeau doesn't hit one of the greatest shots in the history of the U.S. Open, we're not having this conversation today. Not one, and maybe not even one. The shot under the tree has to be in the conversation as well.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I don't disagree. Those are 2 of the greatest shots we've seen, even in the modern day of golf. I mean, those are, if you don't play golf, you can't possibly understand just how difficult those shots are.
Yes.
But I don't know. I have trouble saying this was more about Bryson than Rory. I think Rory ran his ass down, made up the gap, passed him, and then couldn't finish. So to me, Bryson's not in that, doesn't have those chances if Rory does what he's supposed to do. And that's where I have trouble with it. I agree. Bryson deserves all the credit in the world for those shots. I just think those shots would not have mattered as much as they did if Rory would have just handled business. And
Rory would have won by a stroke had he made those 2 putts.
yeah, and I also
Hard not to say it.
I also would say you bogeyed 4 out of your last 5. Like, so,
it's not Van de Velde at the 99 British Open. 3-shot lead at 18. I don't believe that it is, is it the Houston Oilers losing to the Buffalo Bills? When you're up 35-3 in the third quarter.
I think it is on par with the Warriors' loss to the Cavs. I think
that feels like the one.
I think that the Warriors had that thing wrapped up, and then Klay Thompson ran his mouth about LeBron James, and LeBron James went to another level. And I'm just telling you guys, man, like, maybe comparing it to the 28-3 game is a little harsh because it wasn't, if we're going to try and go apples for apples here, the halfway point would have been 9 holes, right? Not the last 5. So maybe it's a little harsh, but I'm just telling you.
Is it Bill Buckner? It could be a ground ball to first base.
Yeah.
That's you versus you.
Yeah.
I look at Greg Norman with an 11-shot swing. He's up, he's up, whatever it was, 6, up 5, going to the final round, losing by 6. That's an incredible choke job. I don't know that this is, I think it's hard to compare it to the Yankees being up 3-0 on the Red Sox team sport. As far as a 1v1, Rory McIlroy melted down mentally. I just don't know that I'm ready to say that it was, that it's Yankees.
I think the thing that I'm happy to say is Rory just right now doesn't have that killer mentality. He doesn't have that cold-blooded, unconscious.
He wants to.
Bury you.
He wants to.
He does, but he doesn't have it.
Totally agree.
Doesn't have it.
Totally agree.
And I look at the, again, I my opinion is it's unfair to compare anybody to Tiger Woods because I think Tiger Woods is just the best golfer we've literally ever seen. But I do think that when you see things like this happening yesterday, and then you go and watch other sports, you need to appreciate guys like Tiger and Bron and Kobe and these guys who are unconscious, hit the shot every time, make the shot, like the Kyrie Irving wing 3 over Steph.
Tom Brady.
Like, you got to appreciate that.
Your
stuff,
favorite
man.
play to the unknown white wide receiver. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
right?
Like that's the stuff.
Chris Hogan, it doesn't have a name without Tom Brady.
That's right. And Dakota Tubbs becoming a member of the Monty Show. I mean, that to me, that's the shit of legends. That's what big balls are all about. And but what I have been meant to say.
Nice comeback story, Tubinsky. Thanks
for being here, Tubinsky.
James, we need to talk, bro.
Can you please stop spamming me on every social media platform? I can't do it anymore. I can't. All James
social media.
All James is doing this morning and yesterday, and probably for the rest of his Okie light living life, is spamming me with videos. And it's like, A, I'm not watching any of them. B, I couldn't give less of a fuck about the, like, hey Monty, no hey Monties. I stop spamming me. Well, here's the 7th grade Pop Warner player growing his mullet out. Look at the actual athletic ability of this prepubescent boy who's going to sign with Oak State. How about get a life? Stop tagging me in 1,000 videos. Continue to give memberships. Stop tagging me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy's a huge disappointment.
I love, quick sidebar. We're not getting into the weeds today on this, but quick sidebar.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we probably are. Over the weekend, I love, and this is what, James, this is not personal. You're the best.
Jake no longer loves you.
I'm not saying it again. You're the best. But over the weekend, I think it was Fox Sports on X put out a graphic that said, "Oh yeah, here are the top ranked defenses in the country. Utah #1." Just saying, like, so you can keep sending videos and talking about buddy from here and buddy from there, but the reality is on game day, your quarterback is not keeping up with that defense, man. They are too disciplined. They are too good. That scheme is too tricky. That's all.
But Monty, we got our defensive line back, bro. Hey, did you see Athlon Sports put out the rankings of the best defensive lines in the country? Funny, Utah's #3 on that list.
Oh.
Hey, anybody notice what Mr. Magazine guy, whose name just went right out of my head, Phil Steele, who do you rank as the best defensive line in the country?
Well, it was the mullet, right? I mean,
Utah was 3rd on his list. I mean, Ohio State pretty much has the best of everything. The Ohio State, but yeah, all of the Allstate Big 12 conference fans who are premature. All of the Big 12 fans who are like, "Oh, Utah, you're a bitch. We're running you this year." We'll find out about that. You guys are making me into Utah fans, and I'm not even a Utah fan. You know.
Yeah, what kind of show are we this week? Are we an SEC show or
are we a Fat Mormon guy?
Yeah, are you drinking the blue Kool-Aid, Monty?
Monty, let's crank up some Tabernacle Choir. Let's go. Get it going, Mormon.
Dude.
Right? Like, come on. James, here's the thing I don't understand. I love sports. I am passionate about sports. Fuck the Cubs. I am passionate about sports. Right? It's not my whole life. That would be golf being my whole life. Being bad at golf is my entire life.
Who are you, Rory?
Yesterday I was. God, I shot an 87 yesterday up at Canyons. Oh my God. Yeah, anyway, my point is it's weird to me that sports fans will tag you in videos of high school athletes.
Yeah.
That's James, you're a great listener of this show. Stop. Like, find a hobby. Honest to God. Maybe fly fishing. I understand there's great oceans in Oklahoma, where I think you live in Texas. There's great. There's not good oceans in Texas. But I'm sure that
Monty, SMU, the pipeline, they have that,
they can build the ocean.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Because that didn't he tell us at SMU? Oh, Stone, dude,
No,
have you seen SMU?
Dude.
Like, are you kidding me?
Dude, 3 words. SMU is back.
SMU's back, bitch.
Like, come on.
Come on. You've got to get a life. James, there's something more out there for you than Bucky's barbecue and combing people's mullets. There is.
James, what's the next stadium review on the slate?
I'm sure it's SMU.
By the way, does your wife think that 8-Ball should be fired, or what's her take?
James could go to Oklahoma and do some noodling. You should. You should. I thought the coast of the Atlantic was in Dallas. Well, I mean, everything's in Dallas. It's on the front of the SMU uniform.
Right. Duh. I mean, come on. Yeah.
The Yankees didn't blow a 3-0 lead. Pappy, get out of here. F. Pedo State. For Red Sox, if there is a group of fans I dislike more than the Boston Red Sox, I don't know who it is.
Yeah,
I don't know who it is.
Well, the Yankees didn't choke. Our greatness just came through.
Stop. You mean, no, never mind. The Chad Carter, please don't say Ohio State is the best at everything. I'm not crowning them for anything until at least the Big Ten title game. Well, if you're crowning...
If Ryan Day doesn't beat Michigan, add it to the list of biggest choke jobs in history.
I understand that Lloyd Carr is a great coach. But if Fatface Kelly doesn't score 100 points a game, I'd be shocked. If I'm telling you, Chip Kelly, the guy is an excellent offensive coordinator.
Savage.
Head coach, offensive coordinator every day. Every day. Every day. Every single, and you weren't being sarcastic, Mapes. You truly believe what you said. I am so.
I love that. I love that play. I'm going to say I'm going to be a red ass about my team. And then when I get called out about it, I'm just saying, oh, no, I was just being sarcastic. Okay.
Red Sox fan. Well, Astro fans. Okay. I digress. How's that Abreu contract working out? How is that Abreu contract
Monty,
working
he's hitting
out?
bombs in AAA. I mean, come on.
I mean, we took 2 or 3 from the Yankees over the weekend. Yeah, I know. It's all we got on ESPN.
We graduated from plastic garbage cans to metal canisters with raccoons coming out of them. So that's how we're stealing signs now, you know?
It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's go. The Monty Show, as always. Our U.S. Open, all of our golf, everything golf on this show is presented by our good friends at Canyons Golf in Park City. Beautiful fairways, beautiful greens this weekend, packed. Absolutely great to see everybody out at Canyons over the weekend. And I just ask you, why are you playing subpar golf courses and paying more than you pay for resort style golf up in Park City? I'll never understand it. It is, I think Canyons in Park City, and obviously I obsess, I play a ton of golf. It is routinely the best golf course that we play year in and year out. It's why we're partnered with Canyons. It's why we're passionate about Canyons. Get resort style golf for municipal prices in the mountains. 3 of the best tee boxes in Utah. Hook it up. Canyons Golf. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Ohio State is scared of anything M. Okay. M schools. So Loyola Marymount, Marist. I understand Marist strikes fear into the heart of thee.
Yeah.
Marist is terrifying. Terrifying. I mean, I got to tell you, I can't think of another M school.
Mississippi Technical Institute of
no, that's not a real school, Jake. We're trying to think of real schools.
Okay.
Miami of Ohio.
There you go.
Strikes fear into the heart of thee. Kay Nurin also on an ayahuasca retreat very clearly. BYU and Utah will play for the Big 12 championship.
I got another M school for you.
Great.
This is real, according to a LinkedIn article. Middlesex University.
Okay. Middlesex is a real school.
Okay.
It is.
Sure.
It's fine. Miami of the Ohio. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right, Mountain Mama. Speaking of college football, real quick, before we get to the Allstate Big 12 Conference, what is the biggest choke job in the history of sports? You can only pick one.
I'm going to go with that Warriors 3-0 or 3-1 rather. I think that's, dude, you had so much talent on that team. And with the development over the weekend that, we all knew this was coming, obviously, but, Klay Thompson and the Instagram situation, obviously that team's about to get changed quite a bit. Losing that series is, it is the worst of the worst. I mean, you can't have it. And I guess the Tom Brady 28-3 game is absolutely a choke job, but I feel like because it's Tom Brady, people write that off to more as being Tom and less about the Falcons. But
in that you are the first team ever to blow a 3-1 lead, and that you had Game 7 at home. It's awfully difficult to overlook that.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was at Roracle and just that you came apart on that, I think that has to be there.
I think the hard part with baseball is such a streaky sport. You could have, 3 amazing games in the postseason and then get shut down one game and then your bats go cold and all of a sudden you're in a bad place. That's how that game works.
Biggest choke job, J2H destroying Giving Caps Lock Friday. That's up there
either, dude.
That's up there.
Again, I biggest choke job in the history of sports is, internet companies marketing one thing and not giving you another.
So you guys may have noticed we didn't do a show Friday because, we had no internet. I I switched internet providers for the studio from Century Craplink to Xfinity.
Yeah.
And still my internet service is out.
Suckmyass.com.
Come on. Dakota, Falcons losing up 24. The Falcons being up 28-3 or the Warriors being up 3-1?
It has to be the Warriors, dude. Come on.
Especially with game 7 at home.
And especially how much one player can impact a game in the NBA.
John Hamm, undefeated Patriots against a 500 level team to the Giants in the Super Bowl. Not a choke job, in my opinion. I mean, you still got to play the game. The Giants needed one of the greatest plays in the history of football.
Yeah.
I would not call that a choke job. The Chad Carter says UMass is Ohio State's all-time nemesis. Massachusetts. Don't forget about the great Monmouth College.
What about what about Alabama's center snapping issues against Michigan? Would we consider that a choke job? Because I feel like that cost them that game. Like, I feel like there's a case there.
Did Iowa choke when the lineman left Alabama to Iowa to Alabama? Okay. It's fine. Yeah, okay. Bobby Thompson, what about Dodgers choking to the Giants? It's a home run. The shot heard round the world is a home run. The Dodgers had a double-digit game lead with a couple of weeks. But you're talking about a pitch. It's singular moments are not choke jobs. When you're up 28-3 at the half, that's a choke job. Even if Pooty can't count and it's 25, not 24 points. Dakota, you need to take off. You need
Tubinsky.
Hey, Tubinsky. Who are you, Marcus Freeman?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me right now?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What are you doing, man? I don't think you can call the shot heard around the world a choke. I in my opinion. Yeah, Mapes says getting Tanner voiced by Jake is the next level. LOL, man, I love this show. Well, when you get Tanner voiced, it is what it is. Bills versus Oilers, huge choke job. Logan says Indians with a 3-1 lead series against the Cubs, losing was a major choke job.
Well,
but the Cubs with Chris Bryant, the greatest, unbelievable Chicago Cub who can't hit without wearing a Cubs uniform.
And the greatest disappearing act I think I've ever seen when switching teams, I might add.
Wild. The Iron Bowl return for a touchdown. But again, are those singular, spectacular moments choke jobs?
I don't think that the singular, spectacular moment's a choke job. I do think you need to have a deficit. It needs to be.
Is Dennis Eckersley to Kirk Gibson a choke job?
Yeah. I mean, probably. That one is just a gimme ground ball.
No. Kirk Gibson hitting a home run.
Oh. Yeah. No.
Did you just conflate Mookie Wilson and Bill Buckner for Dennis Eckersley and Kirk Gibson?
This is what happens, bro. We do this every day. Stop talking about things that happened before I was born, and that won't happen. How about that? How about we talk about
two of the greatest moments in the history of baseball, and I'm not allowed. Can somebody start taking notes? I'm not allowed to talk about the fact that you don't know who the fuck Kirk Gibson is, or that he hit a home run on Dennis Eckersley, one of the greatest home runs ever.
Okay, I don't know. And you just the greatest home runs ever. It's a great home run, not ever though. It's not Albert Pujols to the train tracks for sure. It's not even close, dude.
You don't think that the Kirk Gibson home run off of Dennis Eckersley is one of the greatest home runs ever?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I think there are better. We've seen better.
Just when I think that the levels of stupidity in your chair can't go any lower.
What now? Let me tell you what now.
Just when I think you can't say something worse than you've said every other time on this show, you just said that Kirk Gibson's home run off of Eck isn't one of the greatest home runs ever.
Dude.
In a World Series, to hit a walk-off home run.
Down the middle, bro?
To hit, and to do it against the greatest closer the game had at the time, and one of the best closers ever.
Yes.
Don't fucking change your mind now. Don't change your mind now. That's one of the dumbest things you've. Well, The Godfather's pretty mid, bro.
I'm just telling you. Those home runs back then, that's great, man. That's great. You know what? If Buddy went deep on an 86 mile an hour BP fastball,
he didn't.
Okay, what did he go deep on? Slider? Off speed?
God.
Like what did we go deep on?
I try.
He didn't go deep on a Brad Lidge cutter that didn't cut.
Brad Lidge sucks balls. You're talking about Dennis Eckersley, one of the greatest closers ever.
Okay.
In a World Series at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
One of the greatest calls in the history of sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that didn't mean it. That home run. I mean, are you
means more to you than it means to me.
It's not what it means to me.
It is. It is.
God.
It is.
It's only Monday. And you've already topped the stupid meter.
No, don't put this on me, dude. We're talking about choke jobs and you want to bring up 80s baseball. I'm talking about modern day, dude, not the 80s.
I want now Major League Baseball, the list of the 10 most iconic home runs ever. Bucky Dent. I don't even have to describe it. Boston Mapes just shit himself. Bucky Dent, right? Barry Bonds, 756. Touch 'em all, Joe. Mark McGuire. Carlton Fisk, right? You don't even know who Carlton Fisk is.
I do.
Number 4 greatest home run all time. I don't know. Maybe it's Kirk Gibson.
Yes, it's a great home run.
The 4th greatest home. Oh, but don't know. You got to stick to your guns now. I could punch you.
Like, why are you defending a Dodger?
Because it's not about the fucking Dodgers. It's one of the greatest sports performances. The guy couldn't fucking stand up.
Yes,
he couldn't go. He couldn't go into the locker room and jerk himself off. Yet he shows up against Dennis Eckersley and hits a bomb. And you're like, nah, fuck that guy. Like what? What? Why, man? Listen,
Monty.
Oh, that's amazing. Damian Fowler and Gibson could hardly stand up when he hit that.
I'm just telling you guys, at some point, there needs to be like a limit or a standard.
It was 1988.
Yeah, dude, that's 40 years ago now.
And yet still.
Like.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. I mean, 5 years before you were born, we get it.
Listen, I get it. You were watching that game, and you remember where you went to the spank bank after that happened. I understand, but I wasn't alive yet. It doesn't mean that much to me, dude. It's not that big a deal to me.
World War II happened before I was born.
Yeah.
Whoever this fucking Hitler guy is, whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
Like,
what? Well, listen. No. I'm not playing your games today. You're not going to goat me into this. So many inappropriate things could be said about Jake. And what did he go deep on? LOL. Yeah, exactly. Dude that abides. Yeah, a good take there, Jake. Sports history matters whether we know it personally or not. Don't choose this kind of violence. Mondays are tough enough.
I just think we all like to be like, oh yeah, wow, that was, man. Okay, great. There's a whole ledger of great home runs. I'll after the show, I'll go watch that pitch again, and we'll see how fast it was, and we'll see We'll see what pitch it was. All I'm telling you is, great, die on the hill. It was one of the greatest home runs ever. That was probably 90 miles an hour right down the middle. Like,
no, it was not.
Like, it's not like it by baseball standards in the modern day, there's a gazillion better home runs.
No, there's not.
Like, there is.
No, there's
plenty.
not. No,
the Bryce Harper home run.
No, it's not even close.
In the postseason.
It's not even close to that.
Better than that.
It won a World Series game.
Cool.
It's not even. You see, you get so red ass
because you got.
Bro, it's the history of sport. And I'm telling you, it wasn't some 80s lob ball down the middle. It was Dennis Eckersley, man. You know, like, it was Dennis Eckersley struck fear into the heart of people. Dennis Eckersley was the fucking Oakland A's, bro. Like, he couldn't. I don't even know how to describe. And if somebody wants to roll 0-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th in the World Series, and Gibby puts this at bat together, like, it is remarkable to me that we're even talking about this, right? Like, if you look at the moment itself, it is unbelievable. 0-2, 2 outs against one of the greatest closers of all time and one of the most dominant pitchers. Game 1 at home, and you're about to lose it. And Kirk Gibson, who couldn't play because he was so injured, comes up and absolutely smokes a ball off of Dennis Eckersley in a pitch that I'm pretty sure was low and away. We're actually watching the replay. Oh my God, I just did that. We're watching the replay sitting here. And it's just one of the greatest moments that I've ever seen as a kid. Like, I think I was in 8th grade, and I absolutely loved Jose Canseco. When we're waiting, I'm trying to show Jake this pitch, and of course it's taking.
I've seen it before. Like, everybody's seen it.
Steve Stacks on deck. Like, it's just. Now here we go. Watch the pitch. That is not. That's a great pitch. And great pitch is probably a little much, but that's a great piece of hitting. Yeah. Damian Fowler, the Gibson run around the bases was just as iconic. Yeah, people still do that. Vin Scully, I think, had one of the best calls ever there. Stop bullying your son, Monty. It's borderline child abuse.
I get so sick and tired of the commitment to, hey, like, man, that was like, I get it. That was a clutch moment, and it's the Dodgers. It's the World Series. Like, I get it.
But if you think about the greatest home runs ever, I could use the same argument that you use against me. You don't think anything before you were born matters.
I don't.
You're trying to compare what Kirk Gibson did to Bryce Harper.
Yeah, that's the conversation we're having today. We're talking about the greatest home runs ever. His matters and Bryce's doesn't. It's ridiculous. Like, come on.
It's not that Bryce Harper's home run doesn't matter.
Like, when you look at modern day baseball and what these guys have to do to be successful, I'm sorry, I'm not going to just skip over the fact that we're throwing 95 plus now with wild movement, and these guys are still able to do it. Like, I don't know how we're just like, yeah, that one's better than this one. Like, I get it's two different times.
It's the moment.
Yeah.
It's the moment.
Yeah.
It's game 1 of the World Series. It is the A's were a behemoth of a team. And we could argue about it forever. It is what it is. The Chad Carter. Some might say the Germans choke job against Jesse Owens in the 36 Olympics was big, but that was like 100 years ago. So yeah, remember the black guy who was never going to beat the perfect race Germans? You probably don't remember that. Let's see. Donovan choked so bad he literally threw up on the field. Don't. Monty, quoting Sheriff B. Justice, there's no way you could have come from my loins. Potentially. But this is what we get into when we talk about sports on this show, or life. The Godfather reference is because Jake's never seen The Godfather and doesn't think it's a great movie because he's never seen the series because it happened before he was born. So I think that's just the reality of it. But at some point, before we move on to the Allstate Big 12 conference, at some point, people of your generation, and it's really now turned way more into Gen Zers, you have to understand that things that happened before your time, like it's the Michael Jordan, it's the Babe Ruth, it's Lou Gehrig, it's, like pick your Bobby Orrs. Those guys mattered. And there's so many people who are like, well, Magic and Larry. No. Yes. Without Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, there is no Kobe and LeBron. And so many millennials and Gen Zers won't acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Look how pissed you are.
Yeah, it's a frustrating conversation to try to have with someone who's older than you. I think the perspective is completely different. I think that's great. The calling card of the argument is, hey, you guys wouldn't have what you would have if we hadn't done what we did. Okay, that's great, but you wouldn't have done what you did in today's environment. Like, it goes both ways.
You understand though. Like the Larry Bird Magic Johnson conversation is probably the quintessential one here. Because without those two, cocaine would have brought down the NBA. I think everybody who is knowledgeable about that period in time in the NBA was going out of business. It was done. It was a fait accompli. Like, it was over. And then Magic Johnson and Larry Bird showed up at Indiana State and Michigan State, carried that over into the NBA, and then battled each other for several years.
Right.
And cocaine went away and the NBA was saved. And Dr. J and Michael Jordan, and like there was a bunch of guys. Singularly, though, Magic Johnson, and to a bit lesser extent, Larry Bird. But you have no idea that cocaine ravaged the NBA in the 70s and early 80s and almost brought down the NBA and had them on their knees. So you'll say something like, well, that's an easy argument. It's not an easy argument. It's fact. It's sports history. The NBA was going out of business. TV, like the TV partners in the NBA did not want to put the NBA on TV because so many dudes were using cocaine but it just is what it is. I think we as people, just by human nature, we don't respect history as much as we should. So it is what it is, right? To debate pitching talent increases point, hitters are also getting swing and strength coaching like never before. Like Papa Monty said, all greatness is relevant to its times. Exactly right. Bryson DeChambeau. Why did Tiger Woods save the game of golf? Because he brought distance, he brought power, and that brought in young people.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to put things in their historical place. But I agree, dude. Like the speed training and yeah, totally agree. Honest question. Did the Jazz choke with a 2-0 lead on LA and no Kawhi? It feels like that caused the house of cards to start falling apart. Well, coming up in 30 minutes, we'll tell you what the Jazz are doing. I think the Jazz choked is probably strong. I
think to choke, you have to have expectations of winning. And I'm not sure that nationally the Jazz were expected to win that series. I get what you're getting at there. I mean, I definitely agree that, the Jazz probably should have won that series, but,
really good point, Dakota. If you wouldn't need load management if you just give those dudes cocaine.
Wow.
Roche, good morning. The bar gets raised when people raise the bar. Magic, Bird, Jordan raised the bar. That's why the game today is better. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And so we wonder, can Ant raise the bar again? Like, who's the next bar raiser? Do the Cavs win championship without a chase down block from LeBron?
No, probably not.
They don't, right? Like, guys like LeBron raise the game. You don't have to like them. You have to respect them, though, right? but I think you're completely correct. Brandon Bootlair. How does RSL blow that game on the road? You know you're trying to put the ball in the net, actually. The fact that the NBA Finals was tape delayed. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Watch the entire bottom half of the ninth, and you'll see what old heads are saying. What's unbelievable. And so many people don't understand how intimidating Dennis Eckersley was. It's crazy how intimidating he was. Like I can't even begin to.
Yeah.
Like he struck fear in people's hearts because he was that good. He was that good. And you know, when you're talking about, you know, the Big 12 going to Allstate Insurance, fear just thunderbolts into your heart. Let's get into it. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Should the Big 12 sell their naming rights to Allstate Insurance? I think it's a fascinating question. And I think it is one of those that I don't know if it has the exact right answer, but ask yourself, is the Big 12 making a mistake doing business with Allstate? We'll answer that right after this from The Advocates.
My wife and I and our 1-year-old son were rear-ended by a semi. When I woke up, my wife had told me that I broke my neck and I might not walk again. The Advocates came and I feel like I was put on a hand and just taken. We're still getting better every day thanks to The Advocates.
The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Brett McMurphy broke the story last week that the Allstate Insurance Company and the Big 12 were close to a naming rights deal that would vary between $30 and $50 million annually and could mean between $1.8 and $3 million plus per school on an annual basis at a time where every university in this country is trying to figure out how to make more money. Is it a good idea for the Big 12 to do a naming rights deal with Allstate? I think it absolutely is. But what is the risk to benefit ratio here if you're the Big 12? I don't think there's very much risk at all. If you're getting an extra $30 million per year at a minimum into the conference, it is a win-win situation. And I think there's a lot of negative reaction to, you know, the All-State Big 12 conference. But here's the thing. Is it the fact that they're doing it or that they're doing it first? Is it the fact that the Big 12 has a perception problem, a lack of respect problem nationally? Or is it that they are breaking ground and this kind of rhetoric is to be expected? I think Brett Yormark doesn't care what you think. And I think Brett Yormark is doing a deal that is going to make history in a time where history needs to be made, right? Because if you don't bring in more money to the conference doesn't exist, period. That's where we are. I think we all agree that college athletics, especially at the Big 12's level, is facing an existential crisis. Like you are trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills for the next decade. Doing a $30 to $50 million deal with Allstate seems like exactly the right path to be taking, even if it is the baseline $1.8 million. It's remarkable to me that so many people don't see that $1.8 million is difference making. And if I said to Washington State, to Oregon State, to Arizona, hey, does $1.8 million extra a year into your athletic department, does that make a difference for you? I don't know how any of them could say no. Furthermore, if you are Ohio State, if you are Alabama or Georgia, if you are Oregon, and I say to you, hey, would an extra $1.8 million help your athletic department? I don't know how it's not an unequivocal, unanimous, absolutely, it makes a huge difference on our bottom line. So if you are Utah, if you are Okie State and you got to pay for mullet trimming, if you are TCU, if you're 8-ball down in Waco, do you think $1.8 million is difference making? I don't see how this is a bad deal for the Big 12. And my guess is, and nobody has told me this, but my guess is they are going to push about $2 to $2.5 million through a naming rights deal for the conference. And Jake, I don't see how you could go wrong doing so.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a time when money is, an issue. I think, several conferences are constantly talking about money. Obviously, the SEC and the Big Ten are not. They're in a good place. They're strong financially. But, the Big 12 and the ACC are obviously having to count their dollars and make sure that they're in a good spot. And I'm just surprised people are hating on this, because ultimately more money is a good thing for a conference. And this doesn't account for the private money situation that we've talked so much about. That's a different conversation than naming rights to the conference. So to me, I think that it's a great idea. I think that it brings some level of reliability. And I think that a lot of people don't like it, because you're right. They are doing it first. And, a lot of people, hate on the Big 12 for the brands they added, or, the dynamics in the conference, or maybe their lack of winning, or, maybe they get too much credit in basketball. But the reality is Brett's job is very straightforward. Go make the conference more money and make sure the conference is in a good spot. So if dudes like 8 Ball aren't going to go out and win big games, if Joey's going to disappoint us again at Texas Tech, if Sonny Dykes can't figure it out at TCU, then yeah, I think the $1.8 million per school and up to $3 million is going to be all that more important if you're one of those schools that's not in the college football playoff conversation year in and year out. And I would also point out, when you're not in the college football playoff conversation, you're not exactly helping the health of the conference overall in the big picture, which is another reason this deal is important. The conference needs to continue to put out the messaging that, hey, we're secure, we're stable, we're able to move forward. Keep bringing your money in, keep doing business with us. That's what they need right now, and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I think it is an absolute no-brainer. I think you look at what McMurphy tweeted. I think it is the name is probably the most off-putting part of it. The Allstate 12 conference. It is the Allstate Big 12 conference. And I don't know why you would call it anything else. The big Allstate conference. Hell no.
Terrible.
Come on. It is the Allstate Big 12 conference, or the Big 12 conference presented by Allstate.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Period. Those are your two options. And I would take the Allstate Big 12 conference. And I think it is a no-brainer. If you can get, I would love to see this number be as close to $2.5 million as possible. $2.5 million plugs a funding gap. You look at the fact that $20 million annually now is going to a revenue sharing pot. You look at these NIL settlements. You look at the expense of doing business now. If you're bringing in $40 million a year from Allstate, there's nothing. You don't have to like it. You don't have to, but you better learn to love it, because this is the future. And we've talked about this, and I've told you this, and all the other, I know everything guys out there were telling you how stupid we were. How long ago have I been telling you that the Big 12 conference is for sale? That we have a show on our channel titled that. The Big 12 conference is for sale. I can only tell you how many times on a weekly basis I hear Brett Yormark is aggressively in the marketplace looking for new revenue streams. I've told you that multiple times on this show. This is not a bad move. It is a groundbreaking, historic move.
Right.
It should not be panned. It should be applauded. And the fact that so many people are upset about it tells you this is exactly why Brett Yormark is, in my opinion, the best conference commissioner for this job right now. Because revenue generation, and remember I said this because I've been telling you this for 6 months, your revenue generation cannot be tied to your TV contract. Those days are over.
Mm-hmm.
TV contracts are no longer the lifeblood of conferences. Guys like Brett Yormark, the dude that can close a contract, who can negotiate a sale, who can think outside the box and bring you what's called non-traditional revenue, NTR, the guy that can drive NTR into your bank account. That's the guy that's most important. That's where the dollars are coming from. They're not coming from your TV contract anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the ACC battling a grant of rights is so ridiculous, because the ACC is a viable conference that simply needs to get out of the weeds of legal trouble and infighting and get into making more money for the conference.
Yeah, I mean, how reliable is that grant of rights situation and that TV deal? I mean, imagine if the schools in the ACC looked at it and said, "Hey, we've got this baseline until 2035, right? We've got this foundation to build upon for quite some time, another 10 years or whatever. So, with that being our baseline, how can we go out and get new revenue?" That's how they should be looking at it. But instead, what do we want to do? We want to try to hit the easy button and break a grant of rights and get to a new conference and not worry about, going through that sales process. And that's why I keep saying, like, I think that college athletics and athletic departments across the country are just going to turn into sales organizations. Like, the investment in, generating new revenue has to be there now, because if it's not there, you're going to really struggle to pay for sports. And it's just the reality of it. And everyone wants to pin this on NIL, and they want to say, oh, well, NIL is the biggest issue here. That's not even necessarily the case. Like, yeah, NIL takes a big chunk if you want to go and compete for national championships. Of course it does, right? There's a price to winning, of course. But I think what people discount or maybe don't appreciate enough is that it does take a lot of money to fund athletics. Like, it's not like it's just some we're going to play football, and then the other sports can just kind of, we're going to play football and basketball, but the rowing team just gets all their stuff for free. Like, that's not how it works. These schools pay for everything. So when we're talking about Brett Yormark going out and basically leading the way and paving new roads to how, athletic programs can handle revenue, it is groundbreaking stuff.
And I just go to this idea that, and let's take the Midway, $40 million. That $40 million a year is not enough. In what world are you living? When you put a value on something, ROI is a big part of that. And I think when we look at some of the larger deals that have been done, I think $40 million a year, hell, $30 million a year is, twice as large as most of the notable naming rights deals we know about.
Yeah.
And I look at things like stadium naming rights, building naming rights. I mean, if you are in college sports, find me a stadium naming rights deal that's generating, I don't know, $15 million a year. I'm not talking about Chase Center, which I think is $15 million a year. I'm not talking about even professional sports stadium. Find me a college sports football stadium or basketball arena that's generating $15 million a year. Half of what we're talking about on the low end of the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive deal. And I would love for people to justify the argument that $30 million, $40 million is not enough money. I can't wrap my head around that.
Right.
That's an enormous amount of money.
Yeah, it is.
Not to mention how many companies have the wherewithal and the financial flexibility to commit $30 to $40 million to one college conference. And I love the argument, well, the SEC could double that. Okay, go get it. Go get it. And you know what? They're probably worth more than the Big 12. Not probably. They are worth more.
Yeah, you look at the Mountain America deal ASU did for their stadium, and that's a $50 million deal over 15 years. So the term is much longer, obviously, than
The total is $50 million.
Yeah, over 15 years. This is
What is that
between
number?
30 to 50 a year, right? So I'm just trying to point out that, hey, on a stadium deal for Arizona State football, right? $50 million over the life of the deal, not per year, over the life of the deal.
$3.3 million.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is potentially that number per school per year. Like, it's a lot of money, man.
Brandon Butler, crypto is giving. Are you talking about crypto.com arena? Guy, do you understand what crypto.com arena is? That's an entertainment mecca. That's not a basketball arena. As somebody who, and I fully will discuss, I covered the Lakers day one in that building. Do you understand the importance of that real estate? It's attached to the LA Convention Center and part of LA Live. It is the entertainment mecca. It hosts the Grammys. It hosts every major arena concert that comes through Los Angeles. You're comparing apples to onions, not even oranges. You're not even in the same hemisphere.
Yeah, my guess is because 700 over 20 years is
what is that,
35 a year. But if you broke that number down by events in that building,
it's $35 million a year.
Like how many? Just a quick search, right? Crypto.com.
So if you look at the LA Kings, the LA Lakers, at the time the LA Clippers, because they're moving into their own arena. Arena football is played. I'm just thinking of sports that are played there.
It's estimated that there's 250 events a year in that building.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You like that'd be comparing the Big 12 deal to SoFi Stadium. Or I mean, you look at the largest naming rights deals. Chase Center, I think, is $15 million a year.
So just to do the math, that's $14,000 an event for a naming rights deal.
This is the Big 12 where you're talking about football and basketball games. That's it. You get a little more in stick and ball because of the TV contracts attached to the World Series baseball and softball. You cannot compare Crypto.com Arena to this. It is, there's no way to do that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I just think it's completely different. Putting the good hands on every field for every football game. I'm not saying don't take the deal. I would be happier if it were a bit more. How much do you think this should be worth?
Yeah. What do people think that this deal should be worth? Do you guys think that this should be like 70, 80 mil, or like what's a little bit more mean? You know, like what?
And the thing that comes to mind is Allstate's already a part of, they have their scholarship. Doesn't Allstate have their logo on the kicking nets? Like
They
when
do.
you kick a field goal, I think that's still happening, right? And it funds a scholarship initiative.
They obviously have the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, listen. How much more do you want them to pay? I think this is a scale conversation. It also is why it's much more difficult to do these deals when you get to 20, 22 teams in a conference.
That's facts. Yes.
This is a really rich deal. At $30 million a year, they're cutting a check for $30 million a year. $30 million a year. They're cutting a check for them. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And it's probably going to be closer to 40. I can't think of a more groundbreaking deal I think it is a no-brainer.
And
no-brainer.
I also think one other factor, like if you put yourself in Allstate's shoes, is that clearly with this deal, Allstate's just trying to get more exposure to the college football audience, right?
Yes.
So they didn't say, hey, like, you know, we want to be part of the Big 12 per se. I think Allstate's goal here was, hey, we want to get more exposure to the college football crowd without having to pay the absolute tippy top premium that the Big or the SEC would demand.
Correct.
And to me, that's what I've always said the Big 12's value is, because the Big 12 gets viewership. Like, I think people confuse
it. Ain't
this.
intramurals,
Yeah,
man.
dude. Like people love Big 12 football. I like Big 12 football a lot. Like, so there's a crowd there, and I think Allstate having the Sugar Bowl, having the kicking nets, like having a significant presence, you wanted to expand that. You just didn't want to pay 50 to 80 million a year. Like so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that it's easy to sit here and say, oh, well, they should have got more, or wow, they lowballed them. I don't think they lowballed them. I think what the Big 12 is doing is saying, hey, instead of trying to land one huge fish, Let's bring it down a little bit, but let's land multiple of those, right? So let's get the Allstate thing done. Then let's go get some private money. Then let's go focus on the college football playoff. And then all of a sudden, what do you have? You've got $30 million from Allstate. You've got another however much they're going to do in private money. I think that's much to be bandied about. That could be, who the hell knows how much that's going to be.
And I think one of the things that's so interesting about this, and I was talking to a dude the other day about this, the Big 12 is also starting this conversation around, hey, why aren't you winning?
Mm-hmm.
And I always point to Waco and Baylor and Dave Aranda not being fired, because that's the perfect example. There is a lot of thought that the Big 12, because I think most people would believe that the Big 12 in the next 12 months will likely add $100 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people, that's the number I've heard repeatedly. There is going to be either a committee or an exchange of ideas. And I'll use Baylor. Hey, Baylor, why didn't you make a change with Dave Aranda? Or what are you going to do? There's going to be almost, think about it being on like a performance improvement plan at work.
Yeah.
There's going to be a criteria of, hey, you're not performing to this level, so now there's accountability for it.
And what do you think? Is that bowl eligibility, you think?
I think it is.
Is it more of a
relevance thing? From what the conversation I've had about it, it is going to be a bowl eligibility certainly will be there. Revenue generating certainly will be there. Arizona was the example that was used to me. Hey, you're not generating enough gate and concession to fund your athletics. Because that's the situation at Arizona. They were using their checking account essentially at Arizona to pay for athletics because they weren't making enough gate and concessions coming out of the pandemic. Well, hey, look at your friends over in Boulder. Look how much more money they're generating by XYZ. Oh, but they hired Coach Prime. Right, but why didn't you? Why didn't you do X? There's going to be accountability. Why did you make this decision? Why are you not meeting our revenue generation goals? Why are you not bowl eligible? Why are you not college football playoff eligible?
Yeah, and I think it's how it should be.
And there's going to be a formula where, hey, every 5 years, you have to make at least one college football playoff appearance. Or you have to, and I think it's exactly what it should be. There are going to be performance metrics because you're bringing in private money. And I will continue to beat this drum. What does it mean when you bring in private money? Oh, well, you're making a lot more money, Monty. Everything's great. That might be true. But do you think private money doesn't care about making more private money? Private money is about private profit. When somebody gives you money, there's an expectation they're going to see a return on their investment. So if you just hand somebody money and they're like, hey, I'm going to start Jake's Stupid Takes about the history of sports business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, can you show me a revenue generating model on that?
Yeah, our takes are so stupid that we're going to get a lot of views.
Right? So you're going to get a return on your investment.
Yeah.
If you're giving the Big 12 money, you want to see 8-ball fired because the expectations have gone up.
But I'm curious, like that makes perfect sense, right? Obviously, that makes absolutely perfect sense. But I'm really curious, like, how do you get Baylor to move on that? Like, is Baylor going to have to?
Because you will get less money,
or
you will get less money. You will get less distribution. You will get a lesser share because you are not performing at a high enough level.
Yeah,
that is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Is that you are in football. I think this is going to change because of the Super League. But I think the Big 12, no matter what happens with football, I think the Big 12 is going to have a performance metric for its members. That your stick and ball sports, your lacrosse, if you're not generating enough revenue and you are not contributing to the coffers and you are not winning enough games, there's going to be questions asked of you. And I think it absolutely should be that way.
That's how it should be. I agree. And I think what's really interesting, if you think about, again, we're using Baylor as an example, but any program that's not pulling its weight, how that how you find that balance. Because obviously guys like Brett Yormark need folks like Baylor and that program to win more. But if Baylor is, let's say, a bit resistant to the performance plan, right? And they're a bit hesitant to fire 8-Ball because they don't want to pay the buyout. How do you balance that, right? Because if the penalty, and it makes sense, right? Hey, if you're not winning, you're not going to get a bigger, you're not going to get your size of the distribution. It's going to be smaller. How do you find that balance and get these programs to move on it? Because if you're not moving on it now after what you've seen take place, if you can't clearly say, hey, yeah, winning matters more now than it used to, we should probably invest in our program a bit more. Like if you're one of those schools that's just not doing that, you're clearly not in modern times. You're not with it yet. And that's where I say, hey, all that makes sense. But in the real world, how does Brett actually get these schools to buy in and move on it? That's what I think could potentially be challenging.
James says, show Jake pics of Kathy Ireland and Elle McPherson. The 1980s were great. And he'll bring up other current.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they were.
Hey, have you seen Billie Eilish lately?
I'm sure that you guys have your roster.
You seen Gaga lately?
I'm sure, homegirls know Sydney Sweeney, but she'll do.
Someone will always say the amount is too low. I agree. The only thing I don't like about naming rights is that it's Allstate, but can't be picky about who will pay the most. What's wrong with Allstate?
Is it, do you not like it because it's a bit clunky? Do you not like it because it's Allstate, I guess? I mean, it's just an insurance company. Like I would agree that when you do naming rights, you do need to be select with who that's going to be. Like obviously Brett Yormark would never do like anything related to politics or like, basically you would never do anything that's divisive. You would never want to attach, a company or anything that is divisive in your population. You can't have that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Caitlin Clark plays at crypto once or twice a year.
I just think, look, I understand like kind of where that comment's coming from, but I just think
Angel Reese play at crypto?
God, Angel Reese.
I don't believe she does.
I just think that comparing crypto to anything in college is just not a good comparison.
Yeah, I think it's too tough. Good hands on the field goal nets already. Thank you. Closer to 50 is good.
So why is 50 the number? This is what I would ask people. Why is 50 the number?
Because 50 was floated. So people always want, if it had been 30, you'd have been like, great. Oh, 50 is a possibility. Anything under 50 is disappointing now. It's not.
Yeah.
I understand it though. Wanting too much over market value is what got the Pac-12 in trouble. I don't disagree with that.
Take the money.
OG Gary, is Allstate paying for a new field on top of the $3 million payout per school?
What do you mean?
What do you mean a new field? I think Yormark knows how much he can get better than Big 12 fans. I would agree. He missed my paid comment. Dude, I just read your paid comment. Guy, why are you so high maintenance? I literally just read your comment about Kathy Ireland from the 80s. Great. I've never understood that. But okay. I am so sorry I never read your comment. You mean Yormark has turned OnlyFans down for naming rights? Exactly. I don't like Allstate, but that's personal.
Okay, well, that's fun then.
Yeah. San Diego State Glen, Allstate. It's not Jake from State Farm, but it'll do.
I agree. I agree. I will say I do think State Farm's got him on marketing and the commercial stuff.
Yeah. Caleb Aylmore, so ready for football season. Excited for anything that Big 12 does that's progressive. No, it's Allstate Insurance, not Progressive Insurance.
It's a great point. It's progressive, and it's insurance and Allstate, and it all works together.
MH5. I'm curious what Big 12 schools would be on a performance improving plan. Well, I think you got to put it in place first.
Right.
But I think the other part of that is you have to remember Brett Yormark has already drawn a line between how we do business in football and how we do business in basketball. And your basketball, Baylor again, great basketball program. Does not excuse your football program failing.
Which I feel like that's how it has been up to this point. Oh, well, hey, if you're good in basketball, football doesn't matter.
Not anymore.
Or if you're good in football, basketball doesn't matter. That's just not the case anymore.
You got to be Kansas.
Yeah.
Like you've got to compete at a high level in both sports.
And I think Kansas is a great example. Like Kansas isn't some national championship threat, but what is Kansas? Kansas is a dark horse, a sleeper seemingly every year to be around, when we're 10 weeks into the season, 8 weeks into the season for the Big 12 championship. And they may not win it every year. And I get it, right? I'm not saying I'm a Kansas fan, but Kansas is solid.
And Bill Self has them competing for a national championship in basketball every year.
So Kansas is not going to be on a performance plan. But again, I think when the comments like, hey, I'm curious who'd be on there, it's pretty straightforward. If you're sub 6 wins, you're in danger of being on the plan.
I think if either one of your programs, your major revenue generating sports, basketball and football, are struggling, I think there should be questions being asked about why you didn't fire Dave Aranda.
Look at BYU. BYU had a tournament appearance, had a good season in basketball, I would say, and is making strides in football. They are improving. They are absolutely improving.
And they make you money.
So that's what I'm saying. It's case by case.
I agree 100%. Ready for the big United Arab Emirates 12 conference. It is the flyover conference. Aaron Wilson, everybody's favorite mailman on the show. How's it going being a mailman, dude? Our guy, Aaron Wilson, is a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service now.
It's awesome, dude.
Our little guy is grown up.
Hey, little guy.
Proud of you, dude. Kansas has only had a few decent years in football. And there happened to happen it's just that they're happening at the right time. They happen to happen at the right time. Yeah. What I meant was, whose responsibility is it to replace the field with the new logo on the 25-yard line? It's a can of paint. Is Allstate going to pay for a whole new turf field?
No, that's not how they do it. No, they just paint it, dude. Yeah, they just paint it. Yeah, you don't have to roll out a whole new field. Yeah. You're not like...
Do you really think every time they paint a field, they replace it? Or every time they put a new logo on the field, they replace it? Like you look at... Somebody had a hard-on for Texas last week, and all the SEC logos on the field in Austin. Oh, my God.
Stay hard. Stay hard. Stay hard. Stay hard.
Oh, my God.
Stay hard.
Suddenly the burnt orange looks a little better.
They replaced that field in like lightning speed. Can of paint.
Oh, man.
Who's going to pay for that paint, Monty?
Just out of curiosity, is that like water soluble paint? Do they just spray paint or power wash that off?
No, they put green on top of it.
Paint over it again?
And there is field technology. Arizona, Dallas has it. Like there's field technology where they roll different fields in. And they can be grass, they can be turf. Like in Arizona, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas does this. For college games, they don't play the college game on the Raiders field. The NFL field is different than the college field that they use at Allegiant, Glendale, Arizona, Dallas, Tarrant County.
Boy.
So it just depends. But
and by the way, I also think you got to consider the TV overlay aspect, right? With overlay technology being where it's at now, I mean, you can.
Oh, I think Allstate will be in. I think there's a chance Allstate's in the end zones, not on the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
I think there's only one or two places you put it. You put it in the end zone. You, in my opinion, can put it in the corner of the end zone. You can put it on the top side of the field while the conference logo is on the bottom, or you tie in the Allstate logo into the conference logo and make it one. And you have your center logo, and then you have two right in the middle of the field on the hashes.
Yeah.
You don't just put the small ones. But I think you're going to see goalpost wraps. You're going to see graphics everywhere. It is going to be tough to watch a Big 12 basketball or football game without seeing their logo on the scorers table in basketball.
And as it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah. No doubt about it. In my mind, I think it is the exact right thing to do. Let's see. What is John Dry? I thought Florida State all women's college is being supported by the Arabs. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. James, for some reason, my app is on delay. My bad. You're like Skippy. Your new name is Skippy. You're that guy who's like, Mom. Can anybody tell me what's 6 to the 7th? Me.
Can anybody tell me what the best gas station in the area is?
Can anybody tell me how to kill lice in a grown-ass man who's over 40 years old? How do you kill lice in his moment?
Monty, it's the rollers. That's
Me.
I
know. Call on James over here. James, I'm in the Buc-ee's t-shirt, Mom. Call on me. Relax, Skippy. Dakota Tubbs, preach, Aaron. Mad Cat. How will the sponsorship opportunity affect the G5 conferences? Go out and sell it.
See, and this is what I hope the G5 understands. This is not a NCAA rule or something that's unique to the power conference. Like, you could go out and do this too.
You could be playing games in Mexico. You could have done a deal with Rucker Park. You could have done a deal with Kansas City. You could have done an NFL Pro Day for the conference. Oh, but you didn't. And I understand. Everybody's going to say, yeah, Big 12 homer, Monty. Okay. I just have respect. Game recognizes game. And as somebody that sells professionally, let me tell you, it's not an easy gig.
Yeah.
So when you see Brett Yormark making $30 to $50 million deals with Allstate, I'm going to tip my cap. Brandon Butler says the ACC conference brought to you by LIV Golf. The ACC conference where they chop people's heads off. Next on Raycom Sports. Jake's never heard of Raycom. He doesn't even know who Timmy B is. Kansas, much like Baylor, is a flash in the pan in football. So those new facilities and the investment they've made in infrastructure and coaching.
So then what is Tech?
High-level recruiting.
What is Tech then? Like,
I know what you mean, Texas Tech?
Yeah.
I know what Texas Tech is. Not as good as Kansas in football. Flash in the pan. Well, flash in the pan that's hotter than Texas Tech. Because if you look at the standings and the projections, Kansas is projected to be better than Texas Tech.
Yeah, isn't Kansas last week? I think we said most people have them over unders 10?
7.5. Pretty sure.
I think they were a bit higher. Well, either way, I mean, you're projected to have. You're certainly going to be bowl eligible. There's no question about that. And I think that, sitting here saying that Kansas football is a flash in the pan, that's a little rough, dude.
That's a lot of rough, dude. Texas Tech is projected to, 8.5 for Texas Tech. So,
and then what's Kansas?
Kansas is projected at 8.5 as well.
So we'll see.
9-4 last year.
But they're just a flash in the pan, Monty.
Just a flash in the pan.
It's fine, dude.
Just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's how is Arizona? Because Texas Tech. No, I'm not going to do it. I have a lot of respect for Texas Tech.
Next comment.
Just keep sorting that mail, Aaron. Duke's Mayo Big 12. God, I hate mayonnaise. It is so. Delaric, if you want to see how they do fields, there are several YouTube videos that show how they do it on different types of turf. Okay, I like it. They just mow off the old paint and wait for the new turf to grow before painting again. Okay, if that's okay. ACC equals a cut people's heads off conference. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm. OG Gary, Utah, from what it looks like, cut a whole chunk out of the turf to go from Pac to 12. Okay.
That's how they wanted to do it.
If you can resod, that's one way to do it. You can do that. It's going to be uniforms too. I would agree. Probably getting a helmet sticker. Listen, if it is the All-State Big 12 Conference, you're going to have a new logo. And that logo is going to have the Big 12 and All-State.
My only ask for that when it comes to uniforms is don't make it make sure it still looks clean. Like do a good logo, make sure the uniforms are still more about the uniforms.
You gotta hire the Utah Jazz graphic designers who did the uniforms.
Damn.
What?
Me.
Well, and granted, it would be all purple mountains, but that's a good look in the Big 12.
Hey, TCU, take notes.
Yeah, there you go.
See what I did there?
Take note.
Yeah.
You put the logo in the end zone so that when ESPN shows scoring highlights, you will see, or you just put it. Yeah. My guess is they'll paint the field like they do for a bowl game, which is you have the big logo in the middle that I think is going to be TCU. And then at the 25-yard line, you're going to have a big Allstate Big 12 logo on each end. That's what I would guess. And you're going to have a shoulder patch. You're going to have a helmet sticker. You're going to have all kinds of stuff. Michael W. Smith.
Michael.
I don't know if your middle name's Willie or Wilbur, or Wilbur would be okay. I think there was an article where one of the G5 conferences were already working on a naming rights deal. And you know what? Because we're the SEC, fuck the Big 12. I hope the Mountain West gets a bigger deal. The Mountain West is getting $70 million a year from Jimmy's jerk-off shack. And you can't even get 30 from Allstate? You guys suck. No wonder your Buc-ee's is overwhelmed medium done.
Off the roller.
With fecal matter. Delaric. I'm a terrible person. I think they should done Allstate presents Big 12 football and have someone else present Big 13 basketball. Okay. It's a little early for you. I'm starting to have Looney Tunes flashbacks. Hey, Spike. Exactly. Hey, it's me. Skip, call me. Lil James knows it. Jimmy knows the answer. Bro, I'm the guy. Pornhub's Pac-12 stay hard.
Stay hard.
Flows right off the tongue on Pornhub. Mike Smith, projections mean squat before the season starts.
Well, West Virginia Mountain Mama, we were 9 wins last year.
But does it mean lean? If you squat,
You know.
So is Kansas team squat or team lean versus Texas Tech, who we all know is team, they don't wipe anyway. But Aaron says correct. Man, that comment couldn't have come at a better time. Tanner Plummer, historically, Tech has been better than Kansas.
Well, we all know that.
That's what I think Aaron is getting at.
History is,
But as Jake has finally, once in his goddamn life, gotten something right. What you've done previously doesn't matter. It's what you've done recently. Like, what have you done for me lately?
Thank you.
Stanford. Oh, we're so smart at Stanford.
Oh, endowment. Oh, yeah, nice pencils.
Viagra bricked 12 conference. I am bricked up right now. The only real flashes apparently happen at hockey games.
Okay.
Is it? No. Okay. Fat Jesus. Every player will have an Allstate tattoo.
A temp tattoo. Temporary.
No. Right on the...
Yeah, we're getting that ink, man.
Mike Tyson. The ACC Hymns Conference. Okay. Anybody else see the Big 12 greater than KU? That's what I think. Anybody else in the Big 12 greater than Kansas? I mean, you want to talk about flash in the pan. I mean, Missouri's had such long annual, dynasty and wow.
Right.
I mean, game day's been to Columbia because they're just so great. Quinn Snyder has done such a good job. But what I meant,
And pardon me.
I don't know how to answer that question. Is there any greater flash in the pan than The Missouri Kitty Cats. Aaron Wilson, Tech also beat Kansas in football last year.
Unbelievers.
Dude, you're hating now.
He's not wrong. I mean, Joey McGuire is the greatest high school coach anybody's ever seen. If one more Tech fan sends me a note that's like, oh, you're too hard on Joey McGuire, you're only outnumbered by the Oak State fans who are like, you're too hard on the mullet.
Bruh.
It's me, Skippy. You're too hard on the mullet. I know the answer.
Ollie Gordon's back.
Here, look at this 7th grader. He signed a letter of intent for Okie Light, and look at the way his biomechanics work. So he can cut from the right to the left, and then he's open down the seam.
Hold on, bro. Like,
I mean, for 7th grade, he's no Brandon Whedon, but he'll do.
Stay hard.
Last year, BYU made a mistake with the field reveal that had fixed it by the time the game started. Yes, they had. That was well publicized here in the great state of Jeddah. Logan, as long as corporate logos on uniforms don't look tacky like the Canadian Football League uniforms, then I'll be okay with it. I agree. Aaron, you barely beat Kansas. There's no such thing as barely beating somebody.
That's like saying the Oilers barely beat the Panthers.
No, that's like saying that Rory barely missed those 2 putts. Did he miss them? He did. Oh, yeah. Could have been by 10 feet. Okay. Mayor McCluskey. We golfed with he blew us off.
Yeah.
He blew us off.
Yeah, didn't hear from you, dude. So what do we got?
You busy getting that Hyundai Santa Fe fixed? Guys.
Literally, it is iconic at this point. That start to a comment right there.
Guys. If you could go back to 1964, Tech football, with the Tech football team, and they have lunch with the kicker, what would you ask him? Oh, Skippy knows the answer. I know what I would ask him, Skippy. Does it hurt your foot when the ball hits the laces? Bro, I'm just curious.
Bro,
laces in or laces out?
Do you think that the modern day kicker is distracted by the Allstate hands on the nets?
I'm just curious. Would you rather it be Progressive Insurance with the duck, or would you? Does Progressive? Oh no. Do you want to see Flo's tits on the net, or?
let's ride.
Well, Flo and her Harley were on the net, and it was a little distracting, I must say.
I'm going to hell.
Why don't you fuck off?
Tanner says, LOL, be better, Jeremy. Damian Fowler. I think they said the Big Ten was getting sponsored by Stallion's Vacuum Repair Service.
Well, see?
Believe that's true.
Yeah,
Aaron Wilson says, still won. Barely winning is better than barely losing. True. Truth. Kay Nurin's praying for the Big 12. You should. Mountain Mama, you will not have to worry about West Virginia fans writing in to tell you that you are too hard on the legendary Neil Brown. Yeah, because you guys can't read or write. So how the fuck are you going to write me a note?
Stay hard.
I'll never forget walking into an elevator in St. George, Utah, to 2 West Virginia fans. And my guy over here is like, oh, you guys are overachieving this year. And they're like, yeah, don't tell us about it because Neil Brown's going to survive another year.
Nobody cares.
They just want Buddy fired so
we're
bad.
in St. George playing golf. And Mountain Mama aside, because he is a beautiful, manscaped fucking stud. These 2 were not that attractive. And they were wearing West Virginia
hillbillies.
Well, truer words have never been spoken. These 2 relatives that were married to each other, a husband and wife, were getting on the elevator and we asked them about Neil Brown. And the scowl from this woman.
Dude, they were pissed.
We were having a good time and everybody was laughing. And I said, does Neil Brown needs fired? Don't you say that to me. Like, it was amazing. It was amazing. Mike Smith. Yes. The old Flo's Tits logo for the... My bad.
Oh, man, dude.
Kaner, and we just changed our home and auto insurance. Okay. James says, I sent clips of wide receiver Presley. Nobody gives a flip. Wow, Stribling over here. Hey, it's Skippy over here in Stillwater. Have you seen Stribley? Oh, Stribley running those routes. Oh, my God. Oh. Daddy. I should stop. I did it to back up what I said last week. Oh, Gordon.
Fucking A.
Oh, Gordon. Oh, Gordon.
Daddy.
Oh, Gordon.
Ollie, please don't get in the portal.
Oh, Gordon.
Talk about pounding the A gap.
Oh,
Keep it real.
I did it to back up what I said last week. Oh, Gordon. Won't have to.
Oh my God, dude. Your commitment to the lack of quality at Okie Light is incredible, dude. I appreciate your level of effort here.
Oh my God.
Guess what? Today Monday, motherfucker.
Bro, they told you not to do that. Mike Smith, I have sent pics.
Bruh.
Oh my God, I'm crying. It's so good. Jimmy Otson, my insurance rates better not go up after this. They told me I'd be in good hands. The U.S. president told me, for God's sakes. Good hands with Allstate.
Mommy, please take me home.
Don't raise our rates. At this point, I think even if West Virginia wins a national championship, they will still fire Neil. I think they will.
Texas me.
Fine. You bullied me into it. You guys up there next Saturday? No, I'm in Hawaii next Saturday. Jeremy. Where are you
It
going?
is what it is.
So we're off on Wednesday. Where are you playing? Oh, you're not playing golf.
I have to adult on Wednesday.
What do you have to do?
I go look at furniture and
Oh,
do things for the
stop
move,
it.
and you got to do things, man.
You're ridiculous.
How am I ridiculous?
Whatever. But I'm going to Kansas City. Do you know how good the barbecue in Kansas City is? Little Skippy James over there, he put me onto a barbecue place that is just unbeatable.
I love you like the fat kid loves cake.
Whatever this place, it's called like something like Bucko's or Bucky's. He
Bruh.
told me, Buck, the best barbecue in Kansas City, Bucky's, bitch. That's what he told me. Too much. The Pepsi Big 12 conference. Can you bring back Cindy Crawford?
Hold up. Are you a Pepsi guy? Like, I'm not a soda drinker.
Oh my God, James is
But
the type of guy.
Pepsi guy.
James is that type of guy. ... that drinks Pepsi.
James,
Full sugar
need
Pepsi.
I need confirmation. Pepsi or Coke?
Red, white, and blue.
Monty.
James is the type of guy that drinks Pepsi. You are totally that guy. Cindy Crawford's all right. Stoolwater Skippy coming to you live from Copstar 69. Hey, I know the answer. Oh, Ollie Gordon. Oh, Gordon. Do you just call him Gordon now? Hey, Gordon.
Hey, Gordo.
It's me, Jimmy.
Wow. Okay.
Taj Brooks greater than Ollie Gordon.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Taj. We're watching NBA Finals highlights in the background. Luka Doncic shot a 3 from the logo against 3 Celtics with 4 of his guys wide open because the 4th Celtic was rebounding. Oh, God.
Here we go.
Warm up the voice for this.
Okay. All right.
Clean the tears out.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys. Stribling keeps his fat percentage as lean as 725, which isn't as good as Garden. 725.
James, Pepsi or Coke, bro?
Yeah, James, I need answers. Pepsi or Big Blue Horses, macaque, Mike Smith.
That's
exactly.
right. That's right, dude.
Exactly.
That is 1,000% correct.
Macaque.
Thank you. Oh, Garden handing the Mo's out. Oh. This is the best combo of nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares.
No.
Monty?
God.
Monty, I got to tell you what. I've watched a lot of Oak State football. And I got to tell you, this Stribling kid. And Gordon, I love you. But Stribling, oh my God.
Just like that.
Oh, run that route, boy. Nobody cares. No. Quite. It's June 17th. We're 2 days from Juneteenth. And all you can think about is Stribling's route. Sounds like an equation of some. Did you ever solve Stribling's route? Pythagorean triangles. Utah fan Jim, no matter how hard you guys clown James, he won't stop sending you money.
It's awesome, dude. I love it.
Mama, James is a legend. James make this show work. He does.
That's facts, dude.
LJ Martin, greater than Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can get down with that.
Brandon Butler, just say Caruso 3 times in the mirror. The mayor will appear in Hawaii. Free vacation for the mayor.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed, dude. I was truly let down. I thought that we were all going to play together this weekend.
Well, and I wanted to. Hold on, I gotta look up Hyundai models. Hyundai SUV models.
And wouldn't it be Kia?
Is he a Kia guy?
He's a Telluride guy. Remember? Yeah, he's a Telluride guy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay. Kia. Well, we'll just change this to Kia. Kia. What's the Stinger? I gotta get my Stinger turned up, boys. Garden's coming to town. I won't. And I was so disappointed I didn't get to see the Kia Sorento and stuff. Yeah, we were supposed to. Okay. Taj Brooks, do you drink Pepsi? James,
Pepsi or Coke, bro?
I'm not answering another question or reading another comment until you answer Pepsi or Coke.
No. It's right there. It's right there.
Where?
It's right there. Right.
Oh,
there.
no. My favorite is Coke. You are a Coke Zero guy. I just want to see more Cindy Crawford.
Okay. All right. I mean, if Cindy's your girl, that's cool. That's cool.
Did you know that? And I'm a believer. Okay, so let's talk conspiracy theories.
Stay hard.
There's a conspiracy theory that Dr. Pepper is just Coke and root beer mixed together to make Dr. Pepper.
Seems feasible.
Now, again, I'm the guy who tells you if you drink soda, you're dying every time you take a sip of soda.
Right.
I do love me some Dr. Pepper, and it's been over 12 years since I've had a soda. RC Cola. Yes. RC Cola and Rosati's
chill
Pizza.
On that hand motion, okay?
What do you? Have you seen the video where the guy's like, all right, pump your hand up and down. Okay, now you try it this way. Now faster. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. MH5, hello. The Big 12 logo needs the trucker mud flap girl silhouette. Put Flo's face on it. There you go.
See, that's it. That's
there
all
you go.
That's it.
Solved.
Yeah.
Tanner Plummer is Garden. You ruined it, James. Do you see now, Skippy, that I can't say Ollie Gordon anymore? I have to say
fucking Cole Beasley.
Garden.
It's just got to be as obnoxious as
because
possible.
that's how James says it. Garden. I imagine James is that fan who's waiting in the parking lot for Garden. You're just that run up the middle into the A gap. Garden, that was amazing. Taj Brooks is a really good running back. He doesn't have the wide receivers to help him like Ollie does. Stribling. You're gonna make Garden so good. Yeah, too bad you don't have a quarterback. Alan Bowman, you prick. Alan Borman.
Monty.
I'm out. Damian Fowler. Monty's going to Hawaii next week to smoke some of the ayahuasca with A-Rod. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah. Any darkness retreats on the schedule?
No. None. Coke is for mixing with booze and cleaning car batteries. Pepsi is meh. Dr. Pepper's where it's at. Does Coke clean car batteries?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Stop. Dakota Tubbs, macaque greater than Garden.
Wow.
Macaque.
Aaron Wilson, James Tech also greatly improved our wide receiver room. Indeed, they did. Skippy says, Aaron, if and when Oak State plays Texas Tech, it's 1st to 50. That will win. Okay. James, Lewis is right. I misspoke. Dr. Pepper Zero is fantastic. Okay. Is that a real thing? Dr. Pepper Zero. Boston Mapes, Mike Smith, stop saying the quiet part out loud. Because Mike Smith said spank make material. Wow.
Dude.
Okay. OG Gary, I heard James likes it in the A gap.
Macaque.
That's why I like Garden to run the balls.
Ground and pound.
Yes.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Jeremy Bolton. Maury, fire recalls for the Telluride aren't until July 30th. However, I do love my Hyundai Telluride. It's been great for us. Hyundai Telluride.
They are the same company. So
What?
And I believe Kia and Hyundai are under the same umbrella.
Are they really?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. But I'm pretty
So
sure.
he does have a Hyundai Telluride. It's not.
Let me just confirm that real quick.
What's the Hyundai model? Isn't it
Tucson.
No.
Oh, the Palace. Is it the Palisade?
Palisade. Hyundai Palisades, which is the stupidest name for a car ever. Everybody loves the Telluride. I mean, there are so many people love that car. I mean, when they're not on fire. Other than that, they're great.
Hyundai's the parent company of both of them.
Are they really?
Yeah, but they run independently.
Okay. OG Gary, I heard James likes it in the A gap. Okay. Caleb Aylmore, Borman, oof, but that's exactly what it's like watching the guy play. Okay.
Yeah, that Kia recall though is, all jokes aside, that's a real recall, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
and it's a lot of vehicles. It is. It's a lot. I have a Kia.
I would look into that recall.
Okay. MH5. Does every Okie State fan get their toes curled by Garden?
That's right.
There must be a lot of stiff socks in Stillwater.
Stiff socks.
Capazzo. The Kia Teletubby is a nice looking ride. Okay. Boston Mapes. Now we know 2 holes fits in the A gap.
Right.
We show up.
It's fine. Okay. Speaking of A gap, can we talk about, we'll have to save Katie Clark for tomorrow.
Yeah, Katie Clark and stuff. Getting hit in the face.
Angel Reese is so jealous. It's amazing.
It's wild.
Burger King versus McDonald's. Who you got? Jake this morning was like, "Oh, Monty. Hey, Monty, we got to talk about Burger King."
Monty.
Yeah. Jake is like, he says to me, I've got the food story because we tried to do a food story.
Burger King last year piloted this value meal. I believe the official name is the Have It Your Way meal or whatever. Basically, you can get 3 different types of sandwiches. You get some nugs, you get a fry and a drink for $5. And
Nugs.
so when I saw this, my first question was, what would it take for you to go back and eat Burger King again? Because
that is the first question. He didn't say, how are you feeling? He didn't say, sorry, I blew you off on Father's Day. He didn't say, hey, you're great. Good morning. Really glad to see you. What did he say when he walked in the studio? Hey, what would it take for you to go back to Burger King? Not good morning, not hello. What would it take for you to go back to Burger King? And I said nothing, never, even if there's a fire.
Yeah.
But what is on this $4
so you get
kill yourself menu?
You get a selection of you can get the Junior Whopper, the Junior Chicken Sando, or the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. And so you choose one of those. Then you get 5 nuggets, you get a fry, and you get a drink, a soda. a soft drink. And that's $5, I guess, before tax. So you're probably $6. And I was just like, yeah, dude, I guess that's cool value. Like the value at least is in alignment with fast food.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
But that's not taking me back to Burger King. That's the problem.
I'm not doing it. Yes, exactly right, Mayor. That's like choosing between diarrhea and dysentery.
Yeah, like I'm not doing it.
And I've been on a run lately, and we've talked about this on the show, and Mountain Mama doesn't believe me. He still says I'm fat. And okay. The last 2 weeks, I have been rock solid. I had a Beto's breakfast burrito the other day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I have not had any fried food. None. I have not had nothing. And the crazy part is, I don't generally eat a lot of red meat, but I haven't had really any fast food at all over the last month. Maybe like Jake went to McDonald's for breakfast one day. Other than that, I can't think of a time where I've gone to a Del Taco, a Wendy's, a Five Guys.
Yeah.
The last trip down to the Jeezy.
That was a while ago.
Was when we went to, that was the last time I had a burger. So
like
6 weeks ago?
At least. No, that was, I think that was probably like 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
8 weeks.
That's the last time I had a burger.
Yeah.
And it's wild to me how much sodium is in fast food. Just the difference it makes, like the way you feel. That's the hardest part for me when you eat bad food.
Yeah.
Is just the way you feel. It's why somebody said mayonnaise. Somebody brought up mayonnaise in the other comment section. In the comment section a while ago. The thought of eating mayonnaise is like
revolting.
I just can't do it. I can't do it.
What is the what is it? Ready Whip or the not like traditional just straight mayonnaise?
Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip. That's what it is.
I used to love that as a kid.
Yeah.
Deliric, the BK meal was a ripoff of the Wendy's bag meals. Wendy's is better than Burger King.
I agree. Yeah, you get better value. That the thing with Wendy's, God bless your soul.
Excuse me.
The thing with Wendy's, though, my only criticism is outside of the customer service, because I do think that's location to location. Their burgers tend to just be messy. Like they're
Wendy's?
Wendy's tend because
the Dave's Double.
The Dave's Double is just a hand. Now it's really good, but it is a handful.
BK is raccoon food.
Okay.
Maybe fast food. Went to Starbucks and had an Impossible breakfast sandwich yesterday on the way up to Canyons.
That bacon, egg, and cheese Gouda Sando they have is bomb.
I don't eat bacon ever. No. I agree with Wendy's if their customer service wasn't so bad. Truth. Skippy says, I love the chicken McNuggets. Oh, that is so you. Chicken McNuggets and a Coke Zero, coach. I'm in. And the new chicken sandwich by McDonald's is great. The barbecue sauce that they give with the nuggets actually tastes like KC barbecue. Okay, pandering to Jake again with the Kansas City reference.
Thank you.
Maury Alvarez, the only thing Burger King has going is a good deal on nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know. Like BK's fries, so the McDonald's fries, everyone gets hard over McDonald's fries. And,
stay hard.
And I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's fries. They're not great, in my opinion, but I know a lot of people love them. But BK's fries are very solid.
Aaron, the mailman, says McDonald's Spicy McChicken is a tasty snack. Can't say I've ever had one. Dakota, BK should come out with the Angel Reese collab. All food in the combo comes with extra salt, even the drink. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maryland renewed. I thought they said canceled partnership with Under Armour. Okay. Is Under Armour on your radar?
No.
It's not. You're a Lululemon guy, so.
Lulu and Nike.
BK has better burgers. McDonald's has better fries. Tiebreaker is a drink. $1.50 at McD, $3.50 at BK. Is that true? Good Lord. $3.50 for a drink? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Champion. They just don't have quality food anymore.
Facts.
Correct. They really haven't changed how their burgers have tasted. And to be quite honest with you, a broiled bland burger just isn't it. I totally agree.
Agreed.
A double Whopper with cheese and heavy pickle. Zupa. I went to Zupa's the other day.
Yeah.
Their salads are amazing. I had a really good, I built my own custom salad. Eggs, avocado, chunks of avocado, hard-boiled egg, chunks of avocado, and romaine lettuce with cranberries on it. And I can't remember the other thing I added. Oh, sweet potato. So good. So good. A burger that drips all over your hands while eating is a good burger. Carl's
Not while you're trying to drive.
I had some T-bone steak last night, red meat. I love steak. Love it. Jeremiah says, I have a question about golf courses. Is it normal for them to have a major road to go right through the middle of a course? Normal? Probably not. Uncommon? Not uncommon.
Yeah, I mean, I a lot of courses, because of the way the land is set up and the way the houses are put on them, they have to accommodate that, because you have to have, like, obviously the street's the street, right? Like the street was there before the course.
Yeah, and you cross the street. Canyons has that. Every course we play
Glenmore's got it.
Glenmore's got it.
River
Oaks has it.
You know, like I wouldn't say I would say it's common. I wouldn't say it's every course, but what I would say to that too, though, is if you play, if you pay more for your tee time, like if you're playing a nicer course, you won't run into that nearly as much.
Correct.
Most of the Muni lower end stuff, the day-to-day golf course has the street there.
Like Canyons is residential, so you're constantly hitting your ball off of houses. We haven't hit a house this year yet.
No.
I don't think, anyway.
But like at Canyons, that's more of a resort. So when you talk about the street, like you're just talking about like
a neighborhood block.
Yeah, like it's not like it's a busy street. Yeah.
The entryway, when you're crossing over from 8 to 9.
That street's a little busier. Yeah, that is a little busier.
Yeah. James, Wendy's is better than either McDonald's or BK, but McDonald's did finally get it right with their chicken sandwich. Okay. Crave Box from Taco Bell. When your bowels are just a little clogged and you need a cleaning out. Did you see the Taco Bell commercial with that DJ who's like, oh, and it's affordable and it powers me through my shows? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, it doesn't. Damian Fowler. Well, sorry, Monty. I'm eating mayo on my egg sandwich with avocados. Yeah, I can't do it. The Quaker, the quarter pounder. I was like, Quaker. The quarter pounder with cheese meal with a Coke is the perfect burger combo. Man, I loved that when I was a kid. I would like spicy chicken sandwich and a side of red beans and rice from Popeyes. Someone make it so.
I'm not that guy.
I heard, garden was a good snack. Skippy, can you confirm?
How about that?
Jeremiah, BK might have the cheapest nuggets, but they are also the worst tasting out of all fast food chains.
Agreed.
Garden has the best cream filling in the business.
Okay, Tubinsky.
Capazzo, I haven't been to a BK in decades. Yeah, truth. Best salads from a fast food chain, Cobb salad from Wendy's. God, I haven't had a salad.
I'll say this, though. The best thing at Burger King is the double stacker. You get 2 double stackers and a fry, you're good to go.
Kim Coulter, you guys going long this morning.
Macaque.
So I get to say hello and goodbye. Scotland has tons of golf courses with roads running through them. Good to see you, Kim.
Yeah.
Pew, pew. Jeremiah Champion. Okay, McDonald's does have some pretty slapping quarter pounders. Skippy says Wendy's does have good salads. Man, I haven't had.
Yeah, I
Are you going to Wendy's for salad?
That's what I was going to say. If you're getting fast food salad, you're doing that wrong, bro. I'm sorry.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Don't forget, download the Prize Picks app. Let's play some Prize Picks in the NBA Finals tonight. Close out, or are we going back to Dallas?
Close out.
Close out, I think, is exactly right. Take Doncic and the under on points. Take Jaylen Brown the over. More on Prize Picks. Use the promo code Monty. Prize Picks will match your deposit 100% up to $100. I love Prize Picks. It is America's most popular daily fantasy app. They have millions of users who use it every single day. And the best part is it's affordable. It's fun. You can play as a community. That's what I like doing. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. Yes, we will have a show tomorrow. I know it's Tuesday, but Jake's actually going to show up and do work.
Wow.
Remember, we're off Wednesday. And then next week
is what it is.
Jake's going to Kansas City, so we can't do a show next week.
That's not accurate.
You're not going to Kansas City?
Yeah,
or we are doing a show?
No, we're not doing a show.
I can't. How would I not do? I can't do a show because I'm going to Hawaii because you're going to Kansas City.
No, that's not true.
I'm only going to Hawaii because Jake's going to Kansas City.
That's not true. That's not true.
So,
Okay,
he's going to bend the knee.
Okay, thank you.
Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.